Hi, everybody. It's Sandra Ganley here, and welcome back to another episode of the Country Chats podcast. I hope everybody is well. I hope everyone is out dancing and gigging now because, look, COVID is lifted, things are back to normal, and hopefully you're back dancing and singing and going to gigs, as well as our artists. I'm sure the artists that have been on the podcast and the few that I've lined up are absolutely delighted themselves to be back working. And now on the podcast today, we've had a few females to get this series up and running, but I think now it's time to start bringing a few of the lads in. It's been very female heavy. So I'm delighted to have Gavin Gribben here in front of me. Gavin, how are you?
Hello, Sandra. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Thank you very much for having me on today.
I'm all good. It's great to have you. And as I said, we've had a good few females so far. So it's time to give the lads a bit of a boost and say hello to a few lads. So you're the first lad on series 4 of the podcast. Is it your first podcast or have you been on any before?
No, I have been on a couple of podcasts before, but podcasts, there was something a bit different. There's something a bit enjoyable, a bit more relaxed, I suppose, than traditional interviews.
Absolutely. That's it, exactly. And as I said to you before we started recording, I said it's not really an interview, it's a chat.
Yeah.
And it's more laid back, and you're not trying to get all the info in quick and under pressure. Well, hopefully I'm not putting you under pressure today. We'll see how it goes. I'll ask you after how stressed out you were.
100%.
So by the sounds of it, you're not here in Mayo. I'm from Mayo, so you're a good bit away from me. You're up in County Down, I believe.
I am indeed. Now, funny, I was in Mayo a couple of weeks ago, but stick to County Down. Yeah, no, I am. I'm right in the heartland of the Mourne, so I am the Mourne Mountains. If I'm looking at my back window, it's exactly what you say. But I'm from a wee village called Mayo Bridge, which is...
that's Mayo. We'll take that. It sounds like you're half in Mayo. Yeah. Very good. And why were you down in Mayo? Were you just visiting, or what parts of Mayo were you in?
I was down in Crossmolina doing a gig down there. So, I had a great wee night down there as well.
I did see that. It was in the Dolphin.
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. That is correct. That was Michael running that dance, I believe?
Was indeed, yeah.
I did not do my homework on that. That is literally just, I saw it on Facebook. So, Jesus, I've remembered very well. So, lovely, Crossmolina. Very good. That was only about 3. Well, when this podcast goes out, it probably will have been about. It was just January, I think. It was the end of January.
I was somewhere in that, Somewhere in that, anyway.
Very good. So that's the Mayo connection sorted, right? Lovely. Very good. And I mean, look, you've been on the scene for a while. You're not a newbie anyway to this, to the whole scene. Now, you're quite young though, aren't you?
I am. I've just turned 20 there. To be honest, I started kind of in the country scene. I started singing back when I was really young, I suppose. My first kind of singing adventure was when I was over on holidays in one of the haven sites. So there was within the sites, there's different activities on during the day and at night and everything. And one of the activities was a talent competition. So here's me saying, you know what, might enter a talent competition, thinking nothing of it. And I ended up on it, and I ended up winning it. And that was, I suppose, a 4-year-old. And then from that, I came home and started doing feshes and things like that there, local feshes and like talent competitions. And then, moving on, I then did the score in Oak, which I'm sure is popular down with yourselves as well.
Yep, absolutely.
And again, one thing leads to another. The score, I ended up winning the All-Ireland for the solo singing. And that was in the INEC, the INEC in Killarney. And that was fantastic because not only was it a place that I always aspired to be when I was obviously older, things too, but it was also great to see all the crowds and everything in it for such an event too. But from that, and then as well the FLA, I would have been taking part in it. And again, I've got my All-Ireland medal in it. So I've been about in that sense doing feshes and things and your talent competitions and that there. But when I got a wee bit older, then the score led me to an interview with RTE for a program they called Score Encore. And then the Score Encore, it got me from my first time at 11 years old on the TV, which was another massive thing for me too. But moving on, I have then moved into the kind of the more the nightlife, as they call it, the live scene, and I've started doing gigs and that there when I think it was 16 when I first did my gig, but moved into that kind of sector, and I've been sort of doing that ever since. And then here I am today.
No, but it's you've basically been at it the whole time. And one thing I do want to point out is feshes, for those of you that, some people might associate fesh with dancing. It's not always. Obviously, there is a dancing fesh, but there's always a music and a singing fesh as well. So we'll see in a while, can you dance? We'll get to that part. But for now, just to confirm, you weren't dancing in the feshes, you were singing. Yeah, just to confirm.
Singing at this stage anyway, yes.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, look, you've been working away at it all your life, and you have that trad and country balance by the sounds of it. You're involved very heavily in the two, same as myself actually. Would have grew up going to the Flas, scores, all that kind of thing, and then obviously country scene. So it's always a battle between the two. But again, do you feel there's a battle between the two, or do you feel it's connected in every sense nearly as well?
I do think it's like the kind of the culture as well, in the sense that there's an awful lot of crossing between the two, and I think folk is the kind of common ground between both. But again, at the same time, there's certain songs, and you would hear both country artists doing them as well as traditional artists, as well as folk artists, and I think that's where the kind of familiarity is between everything, and that's why there's kind of that gel between them all. So I have done, as I say, everything really. I've done the traditional in the sense of I play guitar, so even rhythm guitar and things like that in sessions, and obviously singing as well. The folk element, I've recorded different songs and things like that for folk, and then the country end of it, which is obviously to do with your jiving and all that too. And I think that end of things was inspired by both my parents as well as my grandparents as well. They played, and they were always country in that too. So it was a kind of the balance between everything led to, I suppose, where I am today.
That's great. And it's great to have the two, look, there's connection, yes. So it's great to have the two worlds, and they go hand in hand. So no matter which one you went down, you were going to play music either way and singing. So yeah. That's brilliant. Very good. And I mean, you didn't waste any time getting an album out a few years ago, did you?
No, well, I suppose whenever I said that the score encore, it led me to do different things as well. But one of the things on the checklist for me was I wanted to release an album of this kind of songs that I grew up with, and songs I sang when I was younger and songs that everyone enjoyed. They're easily listening songs, so they're songs that everyone would have known and enjoyed. Songs you might have heard like Belfast Mill and The Town I Love So Well, My Belfast Love. There's different things I got there, different songs not there on the album, but I was, I think, 16 years old then whenever I released it, and it did fantastic for him as well. It brought a lot of spotlight to me as a singer, as well as even my music as well. And yeah, I suppose whenever COVID hit, it was knocked the teeth, I suppose, for everyone. But now, thankfully, things are recovering, and we're hopefully recording more and bringing it out more in the year, this year as well.
That's good. Well, you already brought out one there in November, which is a great lively one. I love it. So, you brought Find the Right Girl out in November. So how that's been going well for you, I'm guessing.
It has, yeah. It's been something that was a bit of a change for me. It's something that I always wanted to do, and seemingly for some reason I never did record anything like a jive before. But yes, Find the Right Girl, perfect for yourself as well, a dancer too. Mm-hmm. It's a jiving song, and all about going out on a Friday night and meeting the girl of your dreams, and as they say, the blonde girl in the blue dress. So yes, it's been popular now in the dancing scene, and it's been popular with a lot of dancing teachers and that too. So I'm delighted to hear, yes, it's people are enjoying it, and people are loving the dance to it as well.
Well, I'm definitely giving it a thumbs up as a dance teacher, because it's a great one to throw on for jive. So absolutely love it. And even a bit of a line dance as well. It's great. It's brilliant. And like, obviously that album came out nearly 4 years ago. Do you look, and there's a big difference between being a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. Do you look back at that album and are you still all over it and like, yeah, that was a great album? Or is there a few things you're like, Jesus, that was a bit mad, or I'd change that now? Or what's your view on it looking back? Because I'm just thinking, people look back at things they've done in the past, and you might love it, you might hate it. So what's your thoughts on your first album now?
Yeah, I suppose like everyone, to try and improve yourself, you're always thinking, well, here's what I did do, how could I improve it? But I was, generally speaking, I was happy with the recording of it, and for being 16, I was happy the way it all turned out. Even the songs themselves probably aren't easy songs, as people call them. They might be easy listening, but they're not easy as opposed to singing them, the arranging them, things like that. But from a musical aspect. But no, there are certain things, obviously, even like different songs maybe would have sped up or slowed down. I said maybe, you know what, in future, if I was to do that, I would maybe try it this way or try it that way. But generally speaking, yeah, I was happy enough with everything that it turned out as I say, as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, Jesus, so young. So that's brilliant to have, got that out at 16. And I mean, God, I mean, you've so many years ahead of you, still only 20. God, Jesus, it's all ahead of you. It's all ahead of you. Now you're in college as well, just to add to the busyness of it all, but you haven't strayed too far from the topic of music. So you're doing music in Dundalk, are you?
I am indeed, yes. I'm doing a music degree, bachelor honours degree in Dundalk, DKIT. So, yes, the way it is for me at the minute, at least anyway, it's Monday to Friday is university and working like that, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I suppose, is the gigs and that, and then sure, obviously you have the mix of concerts and different things fired in during the week the odd time too. So it's finding the balance of it. But yeah, no, I'm happy with it, and it's thankfully it's going well now.
Brilliant. And is that degree the sort that means you can teach music, or is it like a music technology, music production course?
So that degree incorporates a bit of composition, performance, production, and musicology. So music theory really. So it's a round balance of it. And well, what I did it. The reason why I picked it was because I thought it'd be a great thing for me to see where I am in a couple of years, and if I wanted to go down this teaching route as well, it's an opportunity for me too to further that on in.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think you might know, but I don't know. Is Shannon Carroll doing that course, or did she do it? I don't know if you know Shannon. She's from County Louth. But I think when I was talking to her, I'm nearly sure she's doing a music degree. Now it could be Dublin IT or it could be Dundalk IT. I'm getting totally mithered, but similar course. But like that, it's a great stepping stone. You're involved in the music, but you still have time to suss out what's going to happen. Where do you go from there?
At the end of the day, I suppose it's all music related, and so, like as I said, I could have done a different course, maybe something that I was going to lead me directly into a certain job. But what people are saying to me was, do what you love, and I suppose for me that's music, and there's really no reason why I suppose I would do it at any type of different course. So yeah, it suits and I enjoy it, which is what I'm looking for from it anyway.
What do you think you would have done if music wasn't the route? What would you do otherwise?
Well, beforehand, you see, before music was the one and only, as I said, I was thinking actually completely different. I was thinking at a stage of veterinary and veterinary science. So yeah, I changed my mind then after. Now I went and work experience and I enjoyed it too, but it wasn't obviously going to work if I wanted to do the music, which was going to be the main thing for me. I had to sort of change my mind and had to go with something that was going to work for me too. So here's where I am today.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's a funny one. Now I know that the reason I asked that was because I do the exact same thing. I done a music degree down in UL, Irish Music and Dance. And before that, I was going to do forensic science and investigation. And now I'm like looking back, how was that even on my list? And now I'm dancing and music no more than yourself. Like you think, it would have been a nice career and all that, but when you look now at where you are, it's mad to think that was even an option. So
well, it's for me at least anyway, for GCSEs, which is the same similar as the junior certs, I did the three sciences as individual subjects. So I suppose from that aspect, it was something that I did enjoy it too as well, even, but it was something that I was kind of doing every day. And then I thought maybe, this might be the next step on from that. But yeah, I suppose your ideas change too then, and life changes, I suppose, as well. Don't we all know, the last couple of years?
That's for sure. And do you ever get anyone saying, what are you doing that music course for sure? What are you going to do with that? Does anyone say that these days? I got it a lot, but that's 10 years ago. So
to be fair, I wouldn't get that or not. Now, maybe, I don't know if it's because people know me for music and know me for, like, as music being, I said, the one and only, like, but no, like, another thing is whenever I would say or explain myself and thinking the thought process and where my kind of the life goes and what I'm thinking of doing after uni, then, and that's maybe clears the air and clears up the muddiness. But no, thankfully it's been a positive response anyway from it so far. Anyway.
That's good. No, that was literally just an interesting question that I wanted I wanted to find out, because look, I suppose, I mean, 10 years ago, a career in music or dance might not have been the most favorable, whereas now people, I think, are more open-minded, and it just shows that you can have a career in music and dance, no problem. So yeah, I'm happy to see that the world has changed and they're giving the thumbs up for music courses. That's good to hear. Good to hear. So you're back again, as you said, you were in Mayo a few weeks ago, and then Wednesday night just gone. There was such a lovely, I'll let you explain the event more because I wasn't there. But when I heard about this event, I just thought it was such a nice event and so lovely for the singers and the artists that were involved. So I'm not even going to attempt to explain it. So where were you on Wednesday night, Gavin? Fill us in.
I was I was in it was a kind of a private event. It was a small time thing for all the artists and all the singers and that'll be involved with Sean Wallace Entertainments, a promoter from about here, and he was running the night basically just for all the artists and all the singers to get together, and especially after the couple of years we've had, to get together, have a bit of crack, and we bite to eat as well. And it was great that everyone, because normally when everyone's gigging together and things like that, or if you're doing this concert spot, and you might get talking to people for a while, but you generally don't get a good kind of crack with them or a good chat with them. So it was a good opportunity to sort of sit down, relax, and not worry about anything, as to say, and have a bit of crack and have a bit of a chat too.
Yeah, it sounded, so now that you've explained it, it just sounded so lovely. And I mean, yeah, as you said, you don't get that opportunity, like, and especially at gigs and awards night and that kind of thing. I mean, everyone has their game face on. People are in showbiz mode. Not that I'm not putting any negativity towards that, but yourself, when you're at a gig, you're kind of on your game, you're talking to fans, you're in show mode. Whereas at an event like this, you could all just sit around, be yourselves. There was no music, nobody sang or anything like that. No, that's not what it was about. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, I suppose as you say, when everyone's kind of, I suppose, I know they say it's a hobby as much as it's a job too, but I think like any job, you kind of have to be, that I was screwed on to. You have to be kind of your head has to be in the right space for whenever you're doing a gig. So it's nice that you can sort of come away from all of that too and just have it as a normal night with kind of no consequences, as they say.
Yeah, that's it. Now I heard one or two people came home at 2:30. I don't know what time you got home, but I know definitely went on. No, it definitely went on till 2:30. I was talking to one or two ladies now. But I suppose as well, the other side of it was probably great for somebody like you who maybe had never got the chance to meet some of these people, or you might have met them or seen them perform, but you hadn't actually got to talk to them before. So I suppose it was also kind of a networking event as well, in a way.
Well, that's what I suppose it is too. It's an opportunity, as I said, for the new and upcoming singers, hopefully like myself, to meet different ones there, and different singers and different people who are maybe involved with different shows or different stations and radio and things like that there, and different promoters too, just to kind of get to know them and to put yourself out there. And again, I suppose the music game is a game where, I suppose, like unlike a lot of things, where if you don't push yourself, you really won't go far. And it's a game where you have to constantly be pushing yourself, has to constantly be putting your name out there and getting to know the people involved. But yeah, it's an opportunity for that to happen.
Very good, very good. No, it sounded like a great event and a lovely idea. I mean, obviously I'm not a singer, so I don't know if these events happen regularly, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think they happen really down south. Now, it was mainly based at more the northern artists.
Well, yeah.
But I just think that's a fabulous idea. No pressure, no glad rags or sequins or suits, like just laid back. I think and you probably need that, because most of you wouldn't see each other until you get to gigs or get to events. So for you to just strip it all back and just relax, I just think it's a great idea. I just think it's great.
Yeah, well, I suppose, like, to say that everyone in the music business it's like a big family nearly, and when you think of it like that, from that aspect, it's a chance for, I suppose, all the brothers and sisters, as they call it, then to get together and to talk away as well.
Yeah,
Like a
no,
family.
and everyone says that. Everybody says that it's like one big family. And I don't obviously push people to say that. You just say it naturally, which is always so great to hear. So that's absolutely fab. Very, very good. So that was Wednesday night. Obviously, it had to be a weekday because you'd have gigs at the weekend. So that was that. And we can confirm that Gavin had an early night. He didn't hang around
I
too
didn't.
late. Very sensible. Very sensible. That's good to hear. A few of the other ladies now, if they're listening, I was told
That's
it was a late one.
good.
Yeah, it was a late one. I won't name any names. Won't name any
Even
names. One of them actually is I don't know, will this mean anything to you? Your big sister.
right, yeah.
You
No, I
know who
know who
that
it
is.
is.
Ah.
I know who it is indeed.
Yeah, I think she well, and Shauna McStravick was there, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to think who else. Oh, there was a few there. But no, so that was Wednesday night. And I was nearly going to ask you where are you this weekend, but it's a Friday. It's Friday today, but this interview won't be going out for a few weeks, so we won't know where you'll be. So there's no point telling us about your gigs this weekend. But
Don't go
are you
for
booked?
it.
Are you booked now for much now during the summer, big festivals and that kind of thing, or are they slowly starting to come in?
Well, no, I suppose like with the COVID and everything, to be honest, I was kind of really going on the country scene for a year and a half before the COVID happened, and it was going pretty well for me to be honest. And then, as everything said, the COVID happened, and it was a slap in the teeth really. From going from live crowds to looking at a phone screen, it's a very different type of performance. But no, I kept myself going with even those like the charity gigs and things like that as well, and then obviously your own Facebook live streams as well. And thankfully, they kept me in touch with the fans as well. So yeah, but even coming off now into this year and even next year as well, yes, I have a few festivals, and one of the big ones being Minalty Country Music Festival. So I'm on the lineup for Minalty along with Ethan Carter, Mike Denver, Rob Mazel's on it too, and we have Matt and Paul Levy. They're both on it, and Derry Shannon is on it too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then I have a couple of festivals in Scotland as well, Stone and Embo as well. So a couple of different Scottish trips away this year, next year, and yeah, a couple of different festivals as well. So looking forward to it.
That's great. Jeez, you're a busy man. I'm glad I nabbed you on the podcast first, so before you start gallivanting. This is good timing, good timing. I wouldn't be able to get you in a few months.
Oh, so that's it. I suppose with everything, at least now, if we can look at it this year, that January is always going to be a bit of a quieter month for every reason. Everyone likes to take a wee bit of a handier January, but now thankfully now starting the crowds are back sort of to a reasonable kind of level as well, and people are looking to get out. I think that's the main thing. If people are looking to get out, they're eager to get going, eager to get dancing, and that's I suppose good for us as well as for themselves too. So yeah, no, hopefully it should be a good summer and a good year.
That's good. That's so no, you seem, I mean, it's only up. How do you say it? I'm getting minded now. What's the phrase I'm trying to say? It's up and onwards. No, that's not it. It's
Up and onwards.
up
I
and
know.
up from here. It's only up from here. I got you. You all know what I'm trying to say. It's not coming out as eloquently as I'd hope, but you know what I mean. It's only up from here. There's nowhere else you can go. You can't go backwards. Yeah.
Upwards.
Now the listeners are aware of the quick fire round. I don't know if you're familiar with the quick fire round, Gavin, but the pressure is going to be on now in a second when I fire questions at you, and we'll see how you can deal with the pressure of it. And we're looking for 1 or 2 word answers, short and sweet, and whatever comes to mind. So I don't know, a lot of people to start panicking when the quick fire round is mentioned. So we'll have to. Oh, he's shaking. For those of you listening on Spotify, the hands are shaking. He's very nervous. So let's see how we get on with the quick fire round with Gavin Gribben. So, Gavin, where is your favorite place to gig, or your favorite venue that you've gigged in before?
Donegal.
And then we need more specific. Come on, give us more. Give us more.
Yeah, no, I've played in a couple of places in Donegal. I think Donegal as a county as well in general is a fantastic county, and they really love the country music as well. But places like Bundoran, everyone knows Bundoran, everyone loves Bundoran, and there's places like the Allingham and the Bird's Nest. So yeah, places like that they're fantastic gigs, and as I say, people love to get dancing, which is fantastic too.
Geez, Donegal is getting a big thumbs up there. So that's that. Okay. Do you play any instruments? I know you mentioned the guitar, but do you play any more?
I do. I play the guitar, the piano, and the banjo as well. So yeah, I'm
Fellow
now
banjo
obviously
player. I'm fellow banjo
you're
player too.
yeah, no, well, the four string banjo, the tenor banjo, I play a bit of it. So yeah, no, so I enjoy it, and it's something a wee bit different. Something I suppose not a lot of people play, I'd imagine, especially in the country scene. But yeah, it's something a wee bit different and something that I enjoy doing too.
That is brilliant. Total sidetrack here, but for anyone that is interested in banjo and like yourself, Gavin, there's an interview with Evan Lyons, I think back in series 2, and Evan Lyons is in. He's one of the musicians on the country music scene. Definitely worth going having a listen to that. I'm telling you, Gavin, as well. That's your homework. And for anyone else who's interested in the banjo, Evan is an amazing banjo and guitar player, and he talks all about his guitar and his banjo and the four string. Oh, brilliant! So go and listen to that, guys. I'm getting totally sidetracked here. We're going to keep going with the quick fire round. So next question, Gavin, can you dance?
I can. Yes,
Ooh.
I used to be an Irish dancer for I think it was 10 or 11 years. So
Ah,
just as often
yes.
you were
So we
saying
need,
earlier on, about the festivals. Yes, I did. Obviously, the festivals for the singing, but as well as that, I did the festivals or the festivals for the dancing as well. And thankfully, I've got my All Ireland and my world medal for dancing too. So
Tia,
yes, I do
stop.
indeed. I do indeed. So
Because I'm an Irish dancer as well, so I understand how hard it is to get
yeah.
them. And so what age were you when you retired?
I quit the dancing. Was it 3 years ago? I think it was. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Is
4 years
that
ago.
all?
Yeah, I suppose now
And
just with everything, I got to a stage where I'm sure you know the dancing it takes an awful lot of time, and it's not something that if you want to do it well or do it right, you need to really put the time in. You need to be going to the practice and things like that. And with I suppose with the singing and music, it was getting kind of busy. And then obviously I had to put priority to the one, so the singing became the thing for me then. But yeah.
oh my God, that's amazing. So when you mentioned All Ireland and world medals there, so were they solo dancing?
No, they were team dancing, so they were.
Wow.
Yes, there was the eight hand for all of us then too. So yeah, no, but fantastic. You know your chef. It's the crack as much as the dancing as well there too. So we had a bit of blast in different places like City West in Dublin, the
Killarney.
INE Killarney, yes, Killarney. You know, fine rightly.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of places all over. And as I said, it's always about the crack and about the buzz and about the I suppose the dancing too. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And another, I've had this exact conversation before when I had David James from Donegal on the podcast. Literally the exact same battle. He danced for years, worlds, all that jazz, and then had to make that decision between Irish dance and the music scene. I quizzed him good on that. I was like, because to me, I suppose, look, obviously I've never given up the dance, and obviously I retired from the competitive scene when I done senior ladies and then I retired. So I was 21. And for me, I just find it so mad to think that after so many years of dancing that then I can imagine was it a hard decision to make, or did you just know and that was it?
No, well, I'll be honest. Actually, I sort of half made the decision I was going to leave a year previous, and then I got swayed into staying for another year. So I think that kind of puts it into perspective. It wasn't an easy decision, and it wasn't a decision I suppose I took lightly either. But at the first instance, I didn't really want to leave. It was just that I was with time was nearly forced to leave, and then I tried to make time for it and make it work. But I suppose at the end of the day, you can't put any more hours into the day either. So I had to obviously give it up then a year later.
But you probably enjoyed that last year more because you made the decision to retire, but then you got dragged in again. I'm sure you got dragged in because they needed an extra boy. Was that how it went?
It's
Literally.
funny actually. The school I was in, there was actually a few boys. We could make up a full team of fellas and that too. You see, and nearly for every age group. So it was actually we had a lot of there was a lot of boys in the school, but yeah, it was the banter between the boys and the girls and the bit of crack as I said, and you went from different fashions and like you were as much you were maybe dancing on stage for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, but you're there nearly the whole day with everything going on. So it's the crack that you're having before and after, and you're mixing with different people, and it's just the whole atmosphere of the day too.
And touring was never something. Obviously, touring was never a route you wanted to go down with the dancing. Obviously, touring as a musician is different, but it was never you never you never wanted to go down that or give it a go?
Yeah, well, I suppose, look, listen, when I was younger, the world was my oyster to a certain extent.
It still is. You're only 20.
No, but I mean, I know. But when I was thinking, even when I was even 10, and like the things I got there, you don't realize the concept of time, I suppose, and you think, oh, sure, everything can happen at once. And I suppose whenever you do get a wee bit older, I'm not going to turn around and say I'm any older than what I am, but yeah, when I am even my own age now, I think you realise you still as much as you would like to do it. And to be fair, you can probably incorporate it into the kind of music that we do too as well. But at the minute, yeah, I suppose I would love to, but just it's probably not going to happen for me anyway at this stage.
I think what you have to do now is start incorporating a reel or a jig into your shows. I know Barry Kerwin is great for that. He always throws in a bit of a reel. So, okay, that's what we need. That's what we need. Can't leave the dancing. You have to do 8 or 16 bars of a treble reel first. We'll have to. God, if I knew that, I would have made you dance in the podcast video. But anyway, you got away lightly. You got away lightly there. But isn't it so funny how? Sorry, Gavin, go on.
I was going to say, I suppose we've moved more into the jiving scene and that now too, and the kind of the country dancing more so than the Irish dancing. But yeah, I think again, it's the atmosphere, and especially for things like social dances and that as well, where there's different things like the taxi dance. You could be dancing literally with anyone, and I think that's the joy and the crack of it. It's how spontaneous it is, and how random, and it's no matter who they are or what they are, okay, you're dancing with them, that's it. And it's a really is. It's a fun type of weird concept, but a fun concept too.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. So can you jive as well? Obviously, you can Irish dance. Can you jive and waltz now? So, and could you do that before you were involved in the country music scene or since?
Well, I suppose my mum taught me how to jive, and then from different things, from me even being on nights out there and different things I got to, you see people as much as they see you too, and you learn from people as much as they learn from you too as well. So me looking down on the floor, whenever I'm looking down on the floor, you see different moves, and you see the swings and different things like that. And I suppose you're thinking to yourself half the time as well, well, I wonder how could I incorporate that into my own kind of jiving dancing too. So yeah, listen, I've learned different things, and yeah, hopefully I'll keep learning anyway. I'm no expert, but I can maybe get there someday.
Well, that was. I got totally distracted there. So going back, in answer to my question, can you dance? We can confirm that Gavin can dance, and I've quizzed him on every aspect of it. So that was the longest quickfire round answer ever, but I enjoyed it immensely. Obviously, I kept pushing for more info. So we'll keep going with some of these questions. Do you prefer to sing a jive or a waltz, or a fast or a slower song?
That's a hard question. Generally speaking, I suppose it's nice to be doing jives and seeing people dancing away too. The waltzes are nice to kind of to sit back, and I think they're sometimes the waltzes are nicer to listen to in certain instances, because a lot of the time with the jives people are singing along with you, but with the waltzes at times there's nearly you could hear a pin drop, and it's a special moment in itself too.
Very good. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. And do you prefer to perform at a dance or a concert?
Again, it's the same answer. With dances and that, people are a lot of the time singing along with you. But I suppose on the contrary, with concerts, people are singing along with you, and as well, there's different songs. There are sometimes some even slow American songs, American country songs, and you could hear pin drop, and that's again, it's a fantastic feeling, and it's fantastic to see that as well. So it is. Very so nice. To answer your question, I really don't know.
Yeah, that's the simple version. No one can ever really pick. Everyone gives the pros and cons of both. Who is your favourite Irish country music singer?
I suppose again, it's a hard question to answer. I do like a lot of aspects from like Mike Denver, Nathan Carter, Derek Ryan. I like his music too. I like singers like Tommy Fleming as well. That's a different way flavour. But he's a fantastic voice as well, and yeah, even some of the American country singers as well. Luke Combs.
Well, that's my next question. What's your favourite American? So keep going. You're on the right track.
Luke Combs, Cody Johnson. Keep going. Yeah. We go here all day.
I know that's great, but it influences the American music then, especially the likes of Luke Combs. Sure, everyone is into him these days, so it helps keep the Irish.
It's nice to be interested in a few different things. I think to kind of keep your own music flavourful and different too. So you don't get into a kind of bit of a rut. It's nice to be listening to different people. And to be honest, I think it's kind of funny whenever you look at your own Spotify, the Spotify Wrap they give you every year. I think like most people would be maybe 5 or 6 genres, whatever they be typically listening to. It's like mine was something like 30 or 40, and it's it's a bit different, but you're looking at it thinking, well, I suppose it's a good thing too.
Yeah,
So,
you're not narrowing down your listing. Yeah, no. As a musician and as a singer, I think that's what you want to be coming out with. It'd be bad if you're coming out with 1 or 2. Well, my Spotify playlist at the end of the year is an absolute disaster because I use Spotify for work. So I use my Spotify account to play all my music on my tablet. So at the end of the year, every single year for the last 6 years, number 1, Tommy K the DJ. Number 2, Hold On to Your Hat. Number 3, Dance All Night, Michael English, because they're all the action songs the kids can dance to. Yeah. Number 4, God's Plan, because it's really slow to start them off on the waltz. Well, yeah. And number 5 is usually something like Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. Well, I don't know what my top Spotify lists are because that's it every single year. Drives me nuts. What? Every year I hope that there might be just one little glimmer of something new, but no, it's always the same.
Something different.
I think I need a work Spotify and a personal Spotify because, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But let me see. What other questions have I for you? Tell us something that we might not know about you, something that's totally not music related. We already found out you might have been a vet. So is there anything else now random that we might not know about you?
I used to be a footballer when I was young.
Is this with the music and the dancing? So something obviously had to...
Yeah, this was with it all, and this is where I suppose in that sense things started to get a bit complicated with time. But yeah, he used to be a footballer from a local club here, and now I'm not going to turn around and say it was the best footballer in the world. I don't know if it was or it wasn't, but no, I was one that liked to get stuck in when it came to tackle and things like that, and then you're coming out with bruises and things like that, and whenever you're doing that and the dancing and the singing, it kind of maybe just didn't go as well as I hoped at times. But yeah,
I was about to say, I'm guessing the football was the first thing to go, because obviously if you got injured at football, that was it. Yeah.
Well, that's it. To be fair, if you injured your leg or you went over on your ankle or anything, now I suppose it can happen in anything, but with things like football, it probably is a wee bit easier for things that happen or to get injured. And yeah, it was the first thing then, unfortunately, that had to go. But it led me to where I am today. So yeah, I suppose I'm happy with the choices that I've made so far anyway.
That's true. Did you ever have any bad injuries with the dancing?
Bad injuries, I suppose. Went over on my ankle. It's something that happens, especially if you're doing the rocks, is not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it can go terribly wrong at times. But yeah, no, I think sprained ankles, things like that, there would have happened, but thankfully not common enough, or too common, as you say. But yeah, that was been probably about the limit of my injuries, thankfully. So
so far, so
far, I wouldn't be any more injuries. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, and one final one. Well, this is kind of a double-ended one. What are your pros about the country music scene and your cons about the country music scene in Ireland, if any?
The pros, I love that it's so diverse in every aspect. It's a scene like I think no other, in the sense where you could find an 16, 18-year-old at a dance, and you could also find an 80-year-old at a dance. And it's not that there's this big divide between the two. There's one over here and there's one here. It's just everything mixed in the middle, and you could end up dancing with someone who's 75, or you could be 17, and it's that kind of diversity that I love about it, to be fair. And it keeps it fresh, and it keeps everything going, I suppose, too. But yeah, it's one of the major pros would have about the genre. So what, and cons. Cons, that's a good question.
I know. I love waiting to hear what the answers will be for this. Usually
the weekends aren't long enough.
Oh, that's a
positive. That's a positive, but the weekends aren't long enough.
That's a sneaky one. That is a sneaky one. Usually I get the late nights. That's the one that I usually get, or missing things, missing events if you're working, if you're gigging.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's an industry like that. You have to be involved at the weekends, and it's you have to be doing the miles and things like that. And that, I suppose, you don't really get an awful lot of sleep at the weekends, but it's an aspect of the industry that if you can manage it, and if you can be happy enough with it, cooperate with it, it's you can sort of think past it. I think so. Like the likes of me doing there, for example, this weekend I'm doing a show in Galway, and excuse me, and if for the likes of that there, if it's a journey, and it's a far journey, but if you can say, well, sure, I'm going to go with this weekend, I'm in blah 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 next weekend, you can see past it, I think, and thankfully so far at least I have anyway. So yeah, I'll see what I'll say in 10 years' time.
Yeah. We will. You'll come back in a few years' time, and you'll be just like wrecked. Look on you, and you'll be all over the place.
Thanks,
I know. And do you drive?
I do indeed,
I
yeah.
was about to say, I hope you're not dragging mum or dad or somebody, family members, all the way down to Galway to drive you.
Now, to be honest, they would drive. They would drive for the gigs and that. But I have the car and the van and that there, and yeah. So it means I can drive now if I need to take over. But I suppose whenever you're setting up, you're doing everything, taking down and all that, you do be exhausted by that stage. So it's nice to have someone to kind of take over. And yeah, so I thank you then again. It sweetens the deal, I suppose, for them then too. So yeah, so it worked out every week.
Yeah. Oh no, that's great. That's great. So you're in Galway. Well, when this podcast goes out, you'll have done Galway. So I'm sure it was a great gig. I'm sure it went very well. Where is it actually? Just out of curiosity.
It's for Michael Commons. It's his
Yes.
annual show, so it's in the Clayton Hotel in Galway. So it is.
Yes, I know Michael and I know the hotel. Very good. So hopefully that went well. If anyone was there, I hope you had a great time. Well, Jesus, I feel we've got to know you very well over the last hour or so between the dancing and the singing and the football. And no, it's been great to chat to you, Gavin. And like we haven't met before or anything like that. So it's lovely. I can officially say we've met now. It doesn't matter if it's virtual or in person. It doesn't matter.
No matter here, especially with the last year and a half, 2 years that we've had, it's the same thing at this stage.
Do you know what? But the thing is, the reality is I probably get to talk to people more on the Zoom and the podcast than I would.
Yeah.
Do you know, if I met you at a gig, I'd say hello and we talk whatever. But like we said earlier, short and sweet, hello and goodbye. Whereas at least with the podcast, you're actually sitting down for a proper, I'm able to nab all the singers. You can't get away, you see. I nab you and then you're here and that's it.
Midweek.
Yeah. But we better let you go. Because Jesus, you've been on a while. You're a great talker, and that's what you need in the country music scene. You need somebody, but you seem very level-headed for somebody so young, and you're a really nice lad, and you're very easy to talk to. And if you've got that, if you can talk and you're a nice lad, the scene, you'd be grand, and you can sing. We should have mentioned that. If you can sing, you can talk. And you're a nice guy, well, you'll be flying it in the country music scene as you are already. So guys, make sure you go and check out Gavin's latest song, which was brought out in November, Find the Right Girl. It's a great jiving one, so you should all go and have a jive around the kitchen now. And I'm sure there's going to be new music coming out soon, Gavin. I know you probably can't tell us too much, but I'm assuming there'll be something coming out to give us a treat.
Yes, hopefully now this year we'll bring a couple of more singles and that. And I suppose even with the last single there, the Find the Right Girl, a lot of people were dancing away to that on TikTok and things they got too. So yeah, you never know. Maybe something like that again might come out later in the year as well. So just keep an eye, I suppose, on my social media, the Facebook and Instagram, and even my website too, www.gavingribbenmusic.com. So keep an eye out on all them things, and you'll see exactly where I am and what I have planned for the year as well. So.
Well, you saved me a job there, because usually I'm the one that goes, go and check them out on here and here and here and here. But you've done it all. I mean, if I ever need a host to join me, I mean, you're straight in. You know what to say. So you never know. You might see Gavin Gribben podcast host. You never know. You're on the ball. But that means, again, you've your head screwed on. You know to give a plug. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. So guys, make sure you go and check out Gavin on all the social medias, on the website there. He's named it out for you, so you have no excuse. And go and check out his music as well. And Gavin, hopefully we'll get to meet you in person at some stage over the coming months.
Hopefully, Sandra, thank you very much for having me on today. I really
No
enjoyed the
problem.
chat.
No problem.
Good
It's
crack.
been great to have you. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in again. I hope you've enjoyed this episode in series 4 of the Country Chat podcast. And we will talk to you soon. So mind yourselves, stay safe wherever you're going. Hopefully you're going gigging and jiving around the country. So we'll talk to you soon. Slán.